The audacity of Dennis Smith. Oh, Dennis, don't do it to him.
What you just said.
I've made a huge mistake.
Mic check 2 1 2, bitch.
Oh my God! Oh! Shut it down! Let's go home!
Mic check 2 1 2, bitch.
What is up, guys? This is DDP. It is, let's see, what day is it? I feel like it's Sunday. Yep, it's Sunday. Sunday, December 30th, 2018. This is the latest edition of Mavs Fastbreak, and we've got a little something to talk about on the heels of a very exciting, very contentious ending to the Mavericks at Pelicans game the other night. And I thought about doing a video on this earlier, honestly, like an instant reaction kind of thing. But I ultimately pulled back from that because I wanted time to kind of process everything from the game. I wanted to collect my thoughts and just kind of feel out a little bit of the fan base, see what people are thinking, see what they're feeling. And for the most part, I'm pretty frustrated, honestly. Like, I get the disappointment and everything that came out of the conclusion of that game, but I feel like there's a lot of negativity going around and general impatience it's kind of toxic, honestly. But we'll get into that. So shout out first in the house to Gle. Shout out Can't Catch 'Em. What's up, Mod Squad, doing work. But yeah, so the Mavericks went to New Orleans the other night, and Luka Doncic went off. Luka Doncic goes for a career-high 34 points on 10 of 16 shooting, including 7 of 10 from behind the arc. He is the only teenager in NBA history to hit 7 3-pointers in a game. And put simply, Luka Doncic was phenomenal in that game. I mean, you can draw it up however you want. He was every bit as deserving of the Luka Legend moniker, which, by the way, that design is still available at represent.com/store/TheDallasProspect. He was every bit as deserving of the Luka Legend moniker that I've noticed is actually starting to catch on. Like, I really wish I had trademarked that, because I've started seeing that even used on like ESPN banners now, and I was like, man, I started saying that as soon as he was drafted, just because I was like, oh, if he ends up being really good, I'm gonna do something with this. And now I see it catching on and going other places. Like, oh, it feels like a missed opportunity. But the merch is there if you guys want it. Just check out the store. But the controversy is not that Luka balled out. The controversy is how the game ended, and that's got people feeling all kinds of ways. I want to give a little bit of context to the situation, however, because Friday night's loss, while disappointing, I feel like we're not keeping things in scope. So let's see here. Shout out Young Onyx in the house. What's good? Let's see. The play was just messed up, not ran right. Glass says Dennis Smith Jr. is dumb. Decoy, really? Come on. Luka was not a decoy on the play. That's not an accurate representation. Luka was face guarded by Drew Holiday, which the Mavs anticipated happening, but if they could have gotten the ball to him, they were going to. Luka comes around, he's face guarded, nothing set up for him, and so Luka basically parks himself at half court and watches, which I agree. I don't like that call, but I'm not going to kill the call either. What up, Tarity? I'm not going to kill the call either, though, because ultimately what you got was a handoff to Dennis Smith Jr., who has hit some clutch shots for us this year. Don't forget the step backhand one against Minnesota that iced up the first home win of the year for us. And Dennis Smith Jr. had been playing really good in this game. He'd missed up 10 of 11 games, and in that game, he had 14 points, led the team in assists with 4. I realize 4 assists is not an eye-popping number, but on a night when Luka goes for a career-high 34, Dennis Smith leads the team in assists. That's pretty good. I would say that Dennis Smith was not stagnating or impeding Luka's numbers in that regard. So, yeah, 5 of 9 shooting for Dennis Smith, 2 of 4 from 3, 2 of 2 at the line, and 2 steals, 1 turnover. He played great. He played with energy. He played with purpose. I thought he played very well in a return, and a couple plays mucked it up for him late, but as I'm going to point out, there were other problems too that can't be overlooked. We can't boil everything down to one play and make a determination and say that one play killed everything, because there were several plays and blame that goes all around for this situation. But let's take a look here. So I get it. Luka was the preferred option on who we'd want the ball to get to. I agree. Luka played I don't want to say the game of his life, because I certainly think he can have better games than that even in the future. The best game he's played all year in terms of just white-hot shooting. He was balling. But they face-guarded him. They took him out of the play. You got matched up with your point guard, who is quick and explosive on the perimeter. Yes, Anthony Davis is a great defender, a lot of quickness as well, but you still got matched up with a big on the perimeter. Now, because of the height disadvantage and the time, you weren't going to have a realistic situation for Dennis Smith Jr. to try a step-back 3 or something for the win. So instead, Dennis Smith crosses him over, gets into a wide-open lane, and here is where I fault him for it. And it's an instinct thing. You got to feel it. You got to sense it when it comes about. And I think he was reluctant to, and as a result, he tried to get to the basket. He needed to go for a floater. Right about the time he got to the free throw line, he should have attempted a floater or a runner. That is a shot we are told that he's been working to develop in the summer. We've seen it in flashes early on in this season. And that's the element of his game that my normal Mavs Fastbreak co-host Enyi and I have really talked about and said if he can add that to his game, he will be a nightmare. Because right now, for him, it's either he has a little mid-range game, but a lot of it feels like it's shooting a 3 or trying to get all the way to the rim, and he needs that middle ground. If he shoots a floater or a runner in that situation, he gets the shot off clean, and it goes, he at least gets the shot off before the buzzer. As is, he takes that one extra dribble trying to get all the way to the rim, doesn't get the shot off in time even if it had gone in, and that's the disappointment. You had 4 seconds, and you don't even get a shot off. I understand it, and I understand that Luka turned to the bench and expressed frustration as well. Now, someone correct me if I'm wrong on this. I think Dallas actually had one remaining timeout. Let me put my finger on camera. One remaining timeout when that happened, and that would be a serious argument if you didn't like the play call, even though it did get you a mismatch and you did get an open shot. Your guy just misjudged the time or didn't trust his own mid-range floater. You have that, or you could criticize Carlisle for either the initial play draw-up or then not using that timeout if they had it. Again, if you guys see that, let me know. Tarity, appreciate the shout-out for people to like the video. I'll throw up the graphic as well. That would have been, that's a valid argument if that's where you stand on it, because this was a back and forth duel between Anthony Davis and Luka. Anthony Davis goes 48 points, 17 boards, and 4 assists, 10 of 32 shooting. 8 of 11 at the line, 2 blocks, 2 steals. Anthony Davis is a freak. We know that. Probably the best center in the league, especially now that Cousins, tore his, I almost said ACL, his Achilles last year when he was still on the Pelicans as well. I would say Anthony Davis is probably the best, most dominant big right now in the league. And as a result of that, he's going to be highly sought after. Luka, meanwhile, as I mentioned, because Luka is a little bit more of a distributor, although it didn't happen in this game, Luka got 16 shots, and that's something I would have pointed out if I'm Dallas as, why didn't we get Luka more involved? If Luka is 10 of 16 and 7 of 10 from 3, why isn't he shooting 20 shots, 22 shots, 25 shots? You can say, hey, man, he was balling out anyway, and it didn't matter. It's not the same, though. You capitalize on that. If you got white hot, you go to him every time. And that's why it's easy to understand the frustration on that last play. I would say even the offense and the way it was flowing in the lead up to that, I would have liked to see more Luka anyway. So let me talk a little bit about some of those other plays, those other key plays that I don't think we can look past regarding how this team failed to execute late. Now, Dallas has the best home record in the NBA and the worst road record in the NBA. It's pretty bad. I think Dallas has 3 home losses all year and only 2 road wins all year. And those 2 road wins were at Houston when they were just horrendously bad at the time. And at Chicago was the other one. And Chicago's not a good team either. Fired their head coach already. So something to consider there. But in this game, the moments that I think people are overlooking because they're only focusing on the polarizing play at the end. And it's a valid thing to focus on, but there's other stuff involved as well. What up, Eric? You have, let me put it this way first. The Mavericks missed 10 free throws in this game. Luka, I believe, missed, 6 of those? Let me double check this here. Luka, yes, 7 of 13 at the free throw line. Luka even makes half of those. 3 of those 6 he misses. And there you go. Right there, you have a 3-point difference, and you don't lose 114-112. You're winning 115-114. So that's first thing, numero uno. That's not a play. That's just a reality of, hey, even if it's not just Luka, if the team doesn't miss 10 free throws, they're in a better spot. Number 2, Dennis Smith Jr. I'm going to hold him accountable. Obviously, you got him misjudging the time at the end. Before that, though, Dallas gets an offensive rebound, and they kick out to Dennis Smith Jr. at the top of the key. Dennis chucks a 3 immediately with about 34 seconds left. Dallas is down in the game, and that's just a swift kick to the crotch. I get his thinking of going 2 for 1, and the differential did make for 4 seconds after Dallas got the stop and the rebound. They had 4 seconds left for that final play, but at the same time, I don't think that's the right mentality. It's certainly not. I mean, you want the kid to shoot with confidence, but it looked off balance. It looked like a forced rush shot. I don't think it was the right play in that situation. So that's the third mistake in that regard. There was a play also with about a minute and change left where DeAndre Jordan secures a defensive rebound, and it looks like there's a miscommunication between him and the guard, where the guard is trying to leak out and he wants a lead pass to get on the break, but DeAndre seems to misinterpret it, thinking it's going to be more of a handoff. DeAndre bobbles it, Pelicans get the ball, and on that play, I believe, get an and 1 out of Anthony Davis to put the Pelicans back ahead in the game. That was a pivotal play in the game late. So that's a 4th mistake right there. And keep in mind, Dallas is the 3rd oldest roster in the league. Luka might be 19 years old and a superstar in the making right now, and I think at this point, you can't deny it. He is a superstar in the making. It's not just hype. And Dennis Smith Jr., 21 years old, is a primo prospect who, if we can just be a little bit more patient with and understand, undersized guards tend to take a little bit longer to develop. And if you look at his total games played in the NBA, he's still sitting somewhere less than 100 games played at this point. And he's been injured at times this year as well. So tap the brakes on the trade Dennis Smith Jr. stuff. I'll get to that again in a moment. But, I mean, we're talking 4 critical mistakes by a very veteran team in this situation. Another mistake, this one as well, falls on Luka. 47 seconds left, there's a loose ball under the Pelicans basket. Luka comes out with the ball, and he decides, with Dallas having the lead, he's going to push the tempo. He tries to push the ball when they have the lead, with 47 seconds left. I think that was a mistake. And you can say that the Pelicans player, while forcing the tip pass, tipping the ball up ahead, chasing down Luka from behind, you could say that, yeah, there was a kickball in there. I know there was certainly that discussion. But regardless, it results in a Luka turnover in transition with under a minute to play. The Pelicans player makes a hell of a play. Great, gritty effort, diving, sliding, onto the other baseline to save the ball for his team. And they get a basket and seesaw back ahead of Dallas at that point. That was a critical turnover and a critical mistake by Luka. Again, I mentioned 2 for Dennis Smith and 2 for Luka. And then I also mentioned the free throws, and I mentioned the DeAndre Jordan fumbled rebound turnover. I think they called it still a loose ball because it looked like he didn't quite have it secured maybe, but it's still a critical play. That's 5 mistakes, 4 clear mistakes, and then, just too many missed free throws in the form of another that made the differential in this game. So I get it. Everyone looks at the 4 seconds remaining, and that's the polarizing play everyone wants to talk about, but there's so much more that happens in a late game situation. And Dallas, even though they're better this year, even though they are about a 500 team, they are still a team that I look at the silver lining in this case. Me watching Luka in that game, I was blown away. I was like, okay, he's not just damn good. He's already arrived, it looks like at this point. Like, he looks like a superstar at this point. Now, there's still obviously growing pains he'll go through, but he's the real deal. There is no imitation or anything about him. He is legitimate. And to me, that was like exhilarating. And even though they lost the game and it was a disappointing thing, I still looked at it and said, you hate to lose a game like that, but at the very least, you had a really good showing. Luka balled out, and the future feels bright. Dennis Smith Jr. still had a really good game too. And, it's tough to beat a team back-to-back nights, essentially. But whatever. That was my impression. But then I saw a lot of venom coming from the fan base and from the national media. We'll get into the national media. And what they were saying essentially was, Dennis Smith Jr., he's awful. You have people saying you can't play with Luka, get rid of him, trade him right now. And it's like, seriously? Because of a one possession? He had a great game. Because of 4 seconds in the final possession of a game, which didn't get you the ideal matchup, and you had to go to the secondary option? Why does that mean they can't play together? It doesn't mean a damn thing. That's the truth. It's someone caught in their feelings, not looking with a rational and open mind. And that, to me, is infuriating. Let the kid grow and develop. Don't pack him into a box that says, hey, Luka's already straight out of the box NBA ready. Hell, NBA superstar ready. The fact that you're not less than 100 games into your NBA career means you're trash. By the way, if he's trash, why would other teams want him? Why do you think he would be a highly touted prospect for someone else? I mean, it's irrational thinking. It's caught up in your emotions. I like the Voch Lombardi saying on this. He says, I hate emotions because they're fleeting. They pass. What doesn't pass is concrete fact. That doesn't change. Now, there are obviously, if you're talking about stat averages and things like that, yeah, that'll evolve over time, but whatever. The idea is the facts are the facts. And if you look at it in a more broad sense and not a hyper reactionary sense, I think you look at it and say, yeah, give the kid time. There's no way you've seen enough to judge him. Him and Luka have played 22 games together. Calm down. Let me take a quick dive here in the comments before I start talking about journalistic integrity. Here, well, let's see. Run another one of these graphics. Still only 2 games below. Talking about the playoff picture. Yep. I'm not worried about Luka's reaction. Like I said, that's just emotion as well. And Luka, after the game, said, yeah, of course I wanted the shot. But, that's the good thing about this team is we have a lot of talent and a lot of guys that can make the shot. He's not upset that Dennis got the last shot. That's just how the play worked out. And I don't put a lot of fear or stock into that. And I'll pull up some of these graphics here as well that kind of further illustrate what I was talking about. The Dennis Smith dunk on Randall was nasty. I mean, that was very much like last year for Dennis Smith Jr. when he was the shiny new toy everyone wanted to see every game. Does any other second-round rookie get minutes and responsibility like Jalen Brunson? It's extremely rare. I could point to maybe back when he was a second-rounder for the Rockets, Chandler Parsons. Now, it's not the same role, obviously, but he got a lot of playing time immediately, and he was a big contributor for the Rockets for several years before coming to Dallas and then moving on to Memphis. In hindsight, I like the play ran for Dennis Smith Jr. This is Cam Hicks. Coach gave him confidence after all. Luka praised him and then being consistent. Trade talks as of late. Yeah, I agree, Cam. I think it wasn't, again, my idea would be go Luka there, but I'm not going to be upset that he gets the last shot. I would have been more upset if Wesley Matthews had gotten the last shot. Like if it had been a play drawn up where it's like, all right, Luka's the decoy and we're going to Wesley Matthews. That would have made me like, face palm like, oh, why? Even Harrison Barnes, I would have been like, okay, yeah, you've done it before, but this feels like it should be Luka, but whatever. It is what it is. So let me see here. Yeah, so here's Luka's quote after the game about being quote-unquote furious as the media narrative ran out and said. He said, yeah, I did, a.k.a. want the shot. But we had a great look. We have so much talent on this team. Anybody can take that shot. Now, this is in response to hacky-ass journalism from Jason McIntyre, a guy who he's either in New York or L.A., I forget. But the dude, I hate this narrative people run with because people are so hyped about Luka, and understandably so. I'm hyped about Luka. But they're so hyped about Luka, they immediately want to put all this attention on him, and it's not just the positive, it's the negative that can come around it. It's them saying, well, Luka's already superstar. Dennis Smith Jr. looks a little bit out of place and out of sorts right now. Therefore, Dennis Smith Jr. is the problem. They need to trade him. Oh, I hear in the locker room they don't like him. The teammates don't like him. So here's the Jason McIntyre thing that he tweeted out after the game. And he didn't even have the balls to tag Dennis Smith Jr. in the whole comment to actually make it like to his attention. Now, Dennis Smith still found the tweet, but it's still hack as can be, I think. He says, talked on the radio show last week about the issues teammates have with Dennis Smith. No alluding to that further. They don't love him. Selfish. They prefer Barea at point guard. Carlisle has talked to Smith about this. Okay, again, I already covered you're in LA or New York, whatever. I think you say LA via New York or New York via LA on your profile. I don't care. I don't even really know who you are. You got a blue check mark next to your name, so I guess you're some kind of authority. Dude, I'm never going to believe what a national media guy says when the local media here, who's around the team every damn day, doesn't support it, doesn't already talk about it or something like that. Now, the issues previously regarding like, oh, DeAndre Jordan locker room, I put a little bit more weight in that at the time, even though I still cautioned a little bit of hesitation towards making a judgment, a snap judgment. The reason I put a little more weight in it is because that came from Tim McMahon, who was around this team for years and years, just like Mark Stein. That's a guy that, on the subject of Mavericks, I would tend to put more stock in what they say because they are great insiders and have been around the team for a long time. Now, Tim McMahon has also kind of stoked some flames regarding the Dennis Smith stuff as of late, and the story regarding, as we talked about Dennis Smith, this came out on the 23rd, talking about how, based on other executives around the league believing that the Mavericks are going to shop Dennis Smith Jr. because they, again being the other execs, don't believe that Luka and Dennis Smith can play together. They're like, yep, this is what's going to happen. And that was just drawn up like it was a factual thing that the Mavericks were shopping Dennis Smith Jr. Like, literally, so much clickbait-ass bullshit came out of this. You saw it everywhere on Facebook. You saw it on Instagram. All these pages that claim to be like NBA Fastbreak or, you know, all these clickbait sites trying to draw something. Their captions are like, the Mavericks are officially shopping Dennis Smith Jr. The hell they are. It's the 23rd of December. Everyone's getting ready for the holidays, and it's a slow news cycle for you. So you brought up a story that had already been in the not public eye, but already had been known and discussed for nearly 2 weeks prior. You're kicking that up now because you want views and you want clicks. And that's trash journalism. Like hardcore trash journalism. Miss me with that crap. And then after the Pelicans game, you saw it again. Citing the same report from the 23rd, they're talking then on something that happened on the 28th and saying, see right there, it's official. They're doing it. They're going to shop Dennis Smith Jr. They're done with him. Based on what? It's the same inaccurate report with no substance from a week ago. It's trash. Like, you have to have some journalistic integrity. Like, I know here, I call myself a journalist as well. DDP_journalist. Also, shameless plug on my Twitter account, I guess. I want to be a legitimate journalist covering sports, but hopefully you guys see I try to be as objective and unbiased. I try to let the stats, the facts, the analysis tell the story for me, and all I'm doing is seeing the data and then relaying it. I'm not posting out. I never come on here and try and go out and just say absurd stuff like a Stephen A. Smith or a Colin Cowherd or a Skip Bayless or apparently a Jason McIntyre or whoever the hell, just to get someone to watch the video or read the article and say, wow, you're an idiot. I'm going to comment and talk about how you're an idiot because, hey, even bad coverage and even being called out on my BS is still clicks and views and builds up my brand. Ha! No, miss me with that trash. That is hack journalism, and it gives real analysts and writers and people that want to do what I want to do a bad name, and I hate it. It's disgusting. It's gross. And it's infuriating. I see some people enjoying my rant over here, but it's infuriating. Like, it really, really is, because it's based in nearly nothing. Let me see here. Dalton Trigg talking about the game. Let's see. Okay, so now that I've had time to fully digest everything that transpired tonight, let me just say I was extremely encouraged by Dennis Smith Jr.'s return performance on both ends. Doncic was also incredible with a new career high. Yeah. Okay, Mike Fischer talking about everything I was talking about with McIntyre. This is a 3-tweet segment he had. I posted it to the Facebook page. You might have already seen it. Mavs say they don't want Luka running mate to stagnate his growth. Dennis Smith Jr. just led the team in assists on a night when Luka scored a season-high 34. Does that sound like he was stagnated? No. Mavs watchers. 1. There's no rift between Luka and Dennis Smith Jr. 2. Dallas does not want to start J.J. Barea ahead of Dennis Smith Jr. 3. Too many have taken the Mark Stein report, the accurate report, which just again said, other execs believe this. Too many have taken that report and tried to coattail the report dramatic guesses as to what's going on. So what he means by that is people taking the accurate report saying, hey, other GMs and executives around the league believe this is what Dallas will do, and other people are trying to ride the coattails of that report as if they have an additional point or fact or something to say when they just don't. They don't. They're talking trash, trying to ride the coattails of someone who actually has some real, clout and reputation to them. It's weak. It's trash. 99% of those guesses are wrong, says Mike Fischer. So when people do that, 99% of the time, they're wrong. Finally, he says, I'm getting tons of texts, DMs, etc. from Mavs fans. This is, I'll do the two sides of this conversation. Them, me as in Fischer. Them. Luka and Dennis don't like each other. Says who? That's what everybody's saying. Look, it means nothing. Just because people are saying that because that's what the trash articles and pretty much dirt sheets going around say doesn't mean that there's truth to it. Dennis and Luka are friends. They live in the same apartment complex and they play video games. Like they're tight. They're friends. They just need to develop chemistry on the court. And Fischer tops it off saying a little more journalistic responsibility would go a long way here. Dude's right. Dude is dead right in this case. It's really, really bad how far this has gone. And again, Jason McIntyre, I don't know anything about you. I don't even know if you're ESPN or if you're Fox or what you are. All I can say is I don't know enough to base your entire... I can't judge you as a person. I can only judge the actions in this case, and I think they're trash. I think it's weak. So let me dive back into some of these comments here. I know I got on a long-winded rant. Oh, and I said Dennis Smith commented on Jason McIntyre's tweet where he claimed he talked on the radio show about this, said teammates don't love Dennis. He's selfish. They'd like Barea better, and that Carlisle has had to pull Smith Jr. aside and talk about this. Dennis Smith Jr., even though he wasn't tagged, found the post and commented, #clown talk. That's what it is. I mean, it's weak. It's just trying to pry the guys apart because, hey, that's the exciting thing to do here. We have something legitimate with Luka, and rather than just be happy about that, we have to try and tear down other prospects because they're not there and they're not as ready as fast. If you're an NBA GM, you would be moronic to move on from Dennis Smith Jr. What, he's played in 20 games as a sophomore in the league? If you moved on from him 22 games or whatever into the experiment with Luka Doncic, who, by the way, is supposed to be a player that makes everyone around him better, so why the hell can't he make Dennis Smith Jr. better as well? If you move on from that, you are a damn fool, a terrible GM, and mark my words, you will regret it because he'll flourish somewhere else, and you'll be looking back 2-3 years down the road and saying, damn it, we had him and Luka, and we screwed it up. The rebuild started 2 years ago. You got the two talents. Why are you throwing in the towel on one of them? You're not. The only way you would move Dennis Smith Jr. is if it was part of a deal to bring in someone like a Bradley Beal. That's the only way I think Dallas would do it, and it's the only way I would be in somewhat support of it. It's ridiculous to suggest that he's going to go be shipped for a bag of peanuts, and that's it. Like, it's asinine. So here's my venting that I've been sitting on for 2 days, and I felt like I had largely kept it pretty well under the surface, but I think it's breaking out a little bit here now, based on some of your reactions. Oh, man. Like the video. Like DDP's meltdown. Subscribe for more meltdowns. I got plenty of Cowboys talk later as well. Maybe not later today, but tomorrow for sure. So keep an eye on that. In fact, it probably will be tomorrow. What up, Tara T? Young Onyx, what's good? CJ. Cam Hicks. I'm just trying to make sure I'm caught up in the conversation. The play that screwed us is when Luka got the steal, poked from behind. Should have been a foul. Young Onyx, yes. I agree. Tara T, exactly. Every effing play should go over Luka if he is on the court. He is that good at point guard. I mean, I get it. I get the notion you want stuff to run through him, but I don't think you can make it exclusive. It's not like, hey, he is the end-all be-all, only he matters. You got to work through other guys. If you're face guarded at half court, you're probably not going to get anything with 4 seconds left anyway, and that's why I didn't hate the play call going to Dennis and letting him create in space, because, again, he got the mismatch, he got the crossover, he got into the wide-open lane, he just made a bad judgment call on the shot choice once he got there. And it sucks, but it's reality. He's a young player. He will learn from it. He will grow from it, and we won't worry about this by the end of the year or next year. We won't even really care. It'll be like, whatever. Growing pain, young players have that. I'm not going to sweat it. Put yourself in DSJ's shoes. First round pick, given the keys to the franchise last year. Then the very next year, a phenom comes in, and now you're being called a problem. It's barely his sophomore year. Totally agree, Cam. What up, Kent? What up, Eric? Pelicans had 70 points in the paint. Maxey, Dwight, DeAndre can't stop Randall and AD, so nothing you can do there. Agreed, but the Pelicans are damn good at scoring in the paint anyway. That's one of their main strengths. And I've already talked extensively about how I feel about DeAndre Jordan's defense around the rim. Maxey is our best rim protector, and he's good, but I don't think he's good enough to be your starting guy, at least not yet. I mean, if you injury situation, maybe you have to put him in there eventually as a starter, but I don't think he's your night-in, night-out starter just yet. And I love Maxey, and I feel like me just saying that will still have people saying, sacrilege! How dare you! Oh, here's a cool random stat. This is from Locked on Mavericks, sorry. Players averaging at least 19.6 rebounds, 5 assists this season. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Russell Wilson. I just went back into NFL mode. Russell Westbrook, Blake Griffin, Victor Oladipo, and Luka Doncic. That's some nice company to be a part of. Let's see. Chuck Cooperstein talking about how Dennis Smith Jr.'s return, other than the final shot, was really solid. Big success, played with force, shot it well, guarded well, a really good sign. Dennis Smith Jr. was a terrible defender last year, guys. That's something that too many people are overlooking. They don't recognize the strides he's made, and he's working every day studying film to be a better defender. Like, the dude has the work ethic. He's just a raw talent, and Dallas and the experts in the draft knew that coming out. So that's why I say tap the brakes on expecting him to be a finished product right now. Luka was pro in Europe for several years. He had time to groom and to hone that skill. Dennis has always just been able to get by with his raw athletic ability, and that's okay, but now that he can't just get by on that, now he's having to refine and polish his game, and it will pay off. Luka must work on his free throws. Agreed. He's like mid-70s or low 70s, I think. He needs to improve. Like Harden in Houston. So good. Can't believe he hit the sometimes. Big homie from the D. What's good? It's okay. We are expected to be worse and we will be better. Agreed. I have a feeling Dennis can't get by anyone in this league. He needs to capitalize. Oh, I have a feeling he can get by anyone in this league. He needs to capitalize on that more often. I agree. Darreck would shoot 100 free throws after practice every day for all his years in the league. Do that, Luka. Yeah, no problem there. I'd love it if Luka and Dirk worked together on more shooting stuff now that Dirk's able to be a full participant and play in the games again. DSJ needs to analyze De'Aaron Fox's tape this year. He's the most improved player. I agree, and it's another point guard from his draft class with whom he wants to compete anyway in terms of being considered a premier pick. So, yeah, go for it. If you want Luka to be a decoy, at least get him involved in the play instead of standing at half court being useless. I agree. On the play, it was... DeAndre's back was turned to him the whole time. I agree. I was not a fan of the call. I think if it had been there wide open, they would have gone for it. But yeah, it's a questionable call, I think. I don't get it. Maybe you can explain it to me why they don't give the ball to Luka on every play he is on the court. He is so unselfish. Example, Harden in Houston. Yo, what's good, Brandon Scal? Luka is a god. I dig it. I dig it. Thanks for the donation as well, buddy. Tara T, sometimes he is parked in the corner for nothing. Oh, regarding why not Luka gets the ball every play. I think because you have guys like Barea as well who are so damn effective with the ball in their hands as well. Now, Barea had a bad game Friday night, and it really hurt the team. Oh, there's the animation. And in addition to that, you have other guys as well that can be effective for you in that department. Barnes is a guy that likes to go ISO a little bit. So it's a balancing act. I agree they need to get the ball to him in his hands more often, but we've had inconsistent payout thus far We've had inconsistent payout so far in Luka running the point for us. So I think if you do it more, it'll continue to build and develop better, but it's been a little bit uneven at times this year. Like the first time we went to New Orleans and we tried point Luka, he got shredded, but that was a bad game for him. That was an outlier game. Sometimes he's just parked in the corner for nothing. I agree, Tara T. Oh, it's freaking exciting. I agree. Dallas prospect. We got a generational player. I'm loving it. Our cupboard is bare. We have nothing, or we have no young guys besides our last few picks. Don't rush to trade DSJ. I agree. Silver lining is the majority of our road wins are super close. Road games, I think he means, are super close. Got to clean up the free throw shooting in that. Yeah, it's in the crunch where we're struggling. And like I said, we have the third oldest team in the league. And when it's guys like DeAndre or Wes or Harrison making mistakes late in those games, you got to look at that and say, okay, part of that's got to be coaching, and part of that's just got to be on your veterans not getting the job done. Because you got guys that are 6, 7, 11, whatever years in the league. There's no excuse for some of these mistakes. So that's something that has to be addressed. I know I singled out a little bit of Luka and a little bit of DSJ earlier. They're young players. I take a little bit more of a grain of salt with them and just understand it's going to be a growing pain. Some of these other guys, the veterans, it's harder to accept. I like DSJ. I think he's getting just now used to the whole Luka magic thing. Give it time. It can work. It works really well. Hashtag Clown Talk says Ace. I like it. LOL, this ish fires up a team. I love it. Hey, you know, the last time we had some crazy report like this, the Mavericks became red hot. They solidified themselves around DeAndre Jordan, and they became the hottest team in the NBA at one point, winning like 12 of 16 games before the bottom kind of fell out again. The moment Wes Matthews gets traded, the heaven will open up a beaming Holy Spirit on the Mavs. All right. I do think Wes gets traded this year. He's an expiring deal, and he'll have value to somebody that's going to be a playoff contender, and he can fetch at least something for you in return. I never thought Luka was mad at DSJ at all. I just saw he was mad because we didn't win. He shared his kid in him all. Yeah, I agree. Road record was even halfway decent. We'd be a great record. Agreed. Best home team in the league, worst road team in the league. People got to understand this Dennis first time playing with Luka, how long it took James Harden or Reggie Miller to get traded until Reggie Jackson to get traded until OKC found out they were actually good players. Peace your. What's up, Rough Reuben? Glad this is the most hilarious rant ever. Yeah. I'm almost caught up on the comments here. Check out the Dallas prospect. He's getting hot. Love it. Best about all this, we are so passionate about our Mavs again. Agreed. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I get frustrated, but at the same time, I'm excited to have meaningful Mavericks basketball again. It's like been this void in my life. It feels like the last 2 or 3 years where we just kind of sat there and we were just like, damn, I miss having real basketball. Like 3 years ago, I think we contended late in the season for a playoff spot, but then we had 2 atrocious years in a row. And now we got the prospects that can reshape the foundation and the future for this team. And you got people saying, kick them aside. Why? Why? It doesn't make any sense. Hey, salute Kent. Another donation to grow the nation. What's up? Thanks for sharing your thoughts, Luka Magic. Appreciate that, buddy. Hopefully Carlisle can make up his folk... I almost cussed there because I was trying to phonetically say that. You tricked me with the spelling, but yes, I agree. Glad. Tell him, DDP. I get it. Appreciate that. Take OKC's bad example, trading away young players too early. Harden, Reggie Jackson, Jeff Green. Yeah, no, I agree. And some of those are semi-debatable. The Harden one's the one that broke their balls. Reggie Jackson had pretty much burned out the bridge underneath them by then because he wanted to play instead of Russell Westbrook. Reggie Jackson honestly believed then and believes to this day he's better than Russell Westbrook, which is laughable. If Philly gives Fultz all this rope to stick around, the Mavs better give it to DSJ. I agree. Eric Anthony, love the passion. Appreciate that. Rough reason. Using Luka as a decoy after he dropped 7 3-pointers against the Pels. Great idea, coach. Yeah, it was a little bit frustrating for sure. I don't know that that's how it was intended entirely, but it got the mismatch. It got the shot. We just didn't execute for the shot. And again, if Dennis shoots the floater and he makes it and we go to overtime, nobody says a damn thing. Nobody. That's just the difference in how it works. We are such a results-driven kind of age at this point as far as society. It's like, it's black or white. Did he make the shot? No. Then I'm pissed. Like, I get it, but that doesn't mean that even though it wasn't an ideally drawn up play, it produced an open look. We just didn't make the shot or even get the shot off in time. And that's really the part that sticks in most people's craw, is that he misjudged the time. If he had gotten the shot off in time and missed it, people would still be saying, oh, it should have been Luka. But at the same time, he got the open look. Again, he makes it, we don't say a word. If he misses it but gets it off in time, we're disappointed. It's just that it happened to take door number 3, which was the worst possible reaction. And on the heels of the other bogus report and BS media trying to all cash in on the same non-report, or I should say mispresented report, people just said as if it was a definitive one or the other, and that's crap. It's the age of clickbait. I have saying this since before the season. Create the narrative. Yeah, no, I agree. And again, I do my best to not ever be that for you guys. I know not everyone agrees with everything I say on this show all the time, but if I say something, damn it, you know I believe it, and you know that I have like stats, facts, analysis, and trends, observations, whatever, to support and back up whatever I say on this show. I will always be completely open and authentic with you guys because I feel like that's the only way you can be to still have like integrity. Wes Matthews for Tim Hardaway Jr. Make it happen now. It would have to be like Wes plus a second rounder and maybe like a smaller role guy for Tim Hardaway Jr. Now, Tim Hardaway Jr. has a laughable contract, but the Mavericks do have the kind of cap room that would be a very interesting addition. I actually would welcome that. All the rumors just saying more about Luka than it does DSJ because they are all going, no way they can work together. We are not saying that. I agree, and that's why I point out all the people that say this trash are the people who are either national media guys that aren't in the same locker room every day, let alone every week, hell, even every month. They're not there, and they're going to act like they have a scoop that no one else has. Exceptions I'll make. Mark Stein is now with New York Times. I will make an exception for him because he cut his teeth here in Dallas. He is very well connected in Dallas. Tim McMahon, I know he's more of ESPN's national NBA coverage for them now, but he cut his teeth here in Dallas as well, and I would still say he's probably one of the best, most connected guys media-wise here, although, again, a couple things he said and reported lately, I feel like he is also starting to spin a little bit, and I don't mean to throw him under the bus, but there have been a couple times where I thought he throws a little bit of gas on the fire rather than extinguishing it, and that's why I know some people don't like Mike Fischer. I tend to not agree with everything he says, but I at least feel like he has a lot of straightforward integrity at times. Like sometimes I feel like he'll talk about something and I just don't agree with what he's saying. Other times like this, I'm like, yeah, he's laying it out there and he's pointing out that people are just trying to say shit to get views, and it's not real, it's not authentic, it's trash. Like a little bit of integrity would go a long way here. Journalistic integrity. 40 viewers, only 8 likes. Come on, guys, hit that shit. Yeah, for real. What's up? What's up? Hit that thumb up. Wait. There it is. Exactly, which means all of the teams love DSJ's potential and want him. They aren't slick. They're throwing out propaganda. Yeah, that's a good point, too. A lot of teams would be interested in having a prospect like Dennis Smith Jr. right now. And that's why they're kind of floating the idea that, like, hey, man, I don't think this is going to work. They better trade him now. Nah. You put that out there because you want it to happen and you want to sow discourse in the locker room. I don't think they're going to let that happen because, again, Luka and Dennis, I feel like they're tight. Luka's going to have his back. I don't think Luka's going to be out there like, yeah, throw him under the bus. You can love Luka and have patience with Dennis at the same time. It's possible. I agree. That Cuban comment on top of this didn't help the situation. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, the AAU thing. Yeah, I talked about that last week. I mean, he's just saying facts, but it's hilarious. Yep, exactly like James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Durant. Speak your facts, man. Appreciate it. The Mavs are on the tongues of so many teams. Journalists, other players, don't get upset. We are relevant. And that's even with the losing record. I agree. Perfect example of that is ESPN moved around. It bumped another high priority game in favor of a Mavericks game just because they wanted Luka that bad. So Luka is what's driving it, and that's why I've been saying Luka is the kind of guy that can draw free agents to Dallas. And if Dennis Smith figures it out in this year where he starts looking like Dennis Smith of last year, or even better because he can play defense a little bit now, bro, people are going to want to come here. Dallas has a ton of cap room next year. And if Luka is already like 4 steps further down the road than we thought he was going to be as a rookie, and Dennis has taken sizable steps forward while playing off ball, dude, why would you not want to come here? That's the simple truth of it. Like, they have the potential now. They have the horses that will bring the people to Dallas. I'm mixing analogies here a little bit, and it didn't quite formulate the way I wanted, but I feel like we're on the same wavelength. you and I and I and I and I and the other 44 or so of you watching. The moment of DSJ gets a floater and better decision making, it's Dame/CJ 2.0. Yeah, and we've been talking about that. Ace, what's good? It's a kickball. Refs admittedly said it was a missed call. Yes, they did. But the gag is DSJ and Luka are homies playing Fortnite every night. Yep. Let me see. DSJ really tries on defense. That's been a huge improvement for him. DSJ is way too low basketball IQ in order to play point guard. He's slowed this way too often. BBIQ is incredibly hard to teach. Trade him and sell. No, man, I disagree. That's a case for me that I look at and say people are too quick to make a snap judgment of a guy's ceiling based on, I think, how quickly Luka has come into his own. Because I'm speculating, but I feel like if you're a fan who's now watching the Mavericks because Luka is here, hey, welcome to the family. We're glad to have you. But I don't think you've seen enough Dennis Smith to make an estimation of that. Because, again, he's dealt with injuries, and he's having to switch to being off the ball more. I feel like Dennis Smith has a very high ceiling. Does that mean he's an all-star? I don't know. But I feel like he could be a very, very useful guy for this team. And maybe if something comes along and you can package him as part of a deal for a guy like a Bradley Beal or something, maybe you do that. Or maybe if he doesn't ever take that step that I'm talking about, if he never gets to that next level, then, hey, look at it this way. You don't have to bring him back after his rookie deal, or you can trade him on the last year of his rookie deal, and you're shipping out a young prospect to someone else who will be interested in seeing what they can get. And at that point, you say, hey, we gave him 3 or 4 years. It just didn't quite come together, and at least you tried. But shipping him out right now would be a disaster. I know that there are different situations here, but don't forget, I know there was a lot of locker room chaos for the Mavs in the 90s. Don't forget Dallas traded Jason Kidd like midway into like his second season, and he became a superstar in Phoenix and then in New Jersey for the Nets. And we got him back and we got a title, but we did not get the best years of Jason Kidd. And imagine if we had had Kidd on the front end the whole time and we had drafted Dirk, what that roster could have been. And I love Nash. Nash is one of my favorite players of all time, but realistically speaking, the Dallas Mavericks would have been better with Dirk and Kidd coming up in their primes. No time. Dallas has to start winning now. Nah, bro. It's year 1 of having the pieces for the actual rebuild. Maybe year 2 if you want to consider Dennis's rookie year as year 1. You have time. Trust me. You can trade Dennis and regret it. Come on, he's 21 years old, super athletic, smart. Yep, I agree. Luke will not stay in a losing franchise. Well, Zoran, that's the funny thing about that. He's a rookie, and they've got him for like 4 or 5 years, and they can offer him more money than anyone else. So I get that you've seen him be super successful elsewhere, but you can't then base it and say he won't play on a losing franchise. He's going to force his way out of Dallas in the middle of year 2 if they're not a playoff team this year. No, it's not how it works. DeAndre Jordan trying to act like more of a coach. Do you agree? I get he's trying to be a little bit of a leader for this team, and sometimes I think it works. But what kills me about DeAndre is I feel like he doesn't give the effort on the court a lot. His help defense, particularly in pick and rolls, it's trash sometimes, and I don't know how he can watch the film of him standing there as the guard comes around the screen, drives right at him, and he stands flat-footed and never puts so much as a hand up. I don't know how he can watch that bad film every week and look himself in the mirror. It's gross. I don't know. I love the athletic ability he brings, but it just does not feel like it is what we want out of him. And that's why I say I'm not committed to the idea of bringing him back. I'm really not. I at least consider my options come the end of the year, even though he's here now and maybe he likes it here. I don't know. But I at least consider my options by year's end. Say, okay, can we get better here? Can we do something else? Yes, no, maybe. Okay, let's make a decision. All the top point guard in the league took at least 3 years to develop. There's no skipping on the process. Agree, William. DeAndre put up a hand. Yep. Steph Curry didn't become Steph Curry until year 5 or 6 in the league. Agreed. That's a great modern comparison. CeeLo Dole, what's good? Rick tries to develop Dennis Smith Jr. by forcing him as the playmaker, even though he's not good yet at point guard. But if you want to win right now, they should put DSJ in a catch and shoot. Yeah, they need to develop him off the ball more, and part of that is because Luka will play point forward as much as he does. Sometimes they'll run him as a pure point, but I think they'll run him point forward more. I think that Dennis Smith Jr.'s best future for the Mavericks is playing off ball, but he is a capable playmaker, and it's what he's done all through college and his whole rookie year for the Mavericks. And so it's not that Rick is trying to force it. He's trying to let him play to his comfort level and what he's comfortable with, because if you get him going on what he's comfortable with, then maybe that spot up and playing off ball opens up a little bit for the catch and shoot you mentioned. Luka is a winner. If Dallas continues to lose for 2 years, Luka's gone. Bro, you keep talking like Luka's on a 2-year deal. I don't think you get how contracts work here. He's locked down for 4 years. I mean, the only way that what you're saying is accurate is if Luka sets fire to the front office, basically, and demands a trade. And even then, it would be like Kawhi Leonard in San Antonio, where Dallas fought tooth and nail for like 2 years trying to fix the relationship before moving on. And Dallas, if it push came to shove, would probably cave and move like Dennis if it was like a last resort. But you're too impatient. You're looking at 34 games. They play tonight. I think it's game 35 of the season tonight. It's an 82-game season in year 1. He's going to play hundreds more games for the Mavericks as a rookie. Or not as a rookie, excuse me. Rookie contract. So, tap the brakes. Trying to skim through some of the comments here. I only got a couple more minutes left in the show, guys. Appreciate everyone who's tuned in. Check us out as well. You can check out the merch store. I should mention, if you are interested in the Luka Legend shirt designs, which let me see, I can maybe bring one up right here now. If you are interested in the Luka Legend shirt designs, they are an exclusive print. They are a limited time only. So I stress, if it's a shirt that you want to get, now ignore the graphic that it says coming soon. They're here now. They are at represent.com/store/the-dallas-prospect. Check them out. They are available until January 14th. Then they come down. If you want it, check it out. Anything helps Dallas Prospect and would be greatly appreciated. So rep Luka Legend, and remember, Luka Legend as far as a nickname, I mean, I can't speak for European League, but as far as here, far as I can tell, I'm the first one who started calling him that, because I started calling him that when the Mavericks drafted him. And now I look on ESPN the other day when they're showing highlights, and they've got the Luka Legend banner up there too, and I was just like, shit, I should have trademarked that. But it is what it is. Let me see here. Winning organization. Really like that starting lineup. Kleber. Cool. If you guys got a couple questions real quick, hit me up with those questions. I've caught up on the thread here. So let me know. Hit me up with a couple questions if you got them real quick. And then I'm going to go into the wrap up of this show. In the meantime, I will say, check us out on Facebook. You can find, I think we got like 1,900 likes and follows, whatever you want to call it, on Facebook now, the Facebook page for the Dallas Prospect. We also have, of course, here we just hit 1,600 subscribers on YouTube. Appreciate all of you. Greatly appreciated how we've been working to build this up. And I'm glad that we hit 1,600 before the new year. That was the last kind of milestone I was really trying to chase down by 2016. So let's see what we can do. I'm really excited about this team's future, even beyond this year, and curious to see what we can do. Ace, do you like the Matador nickname? I personally don't. I get the flair and how he kind of holds the crowd in his hand, but to me, Matador is two things. One, the nickname Matador in basketball is bad because it's really bad defense, right? It's like the offensive player's coming at you and you just kind of like, ole! Like you sidestep like a Matador and let the guy go right by you. That's Matador defense. That's the way it's most known in the NBA. I would then say Matador also makes him sound like a Spanish player, and I think that's also misleading. So I don't like Matador. I don't like sevens, which people have said for his nickname because of his jersey number. I don't like that. To me, it's Luka Legend. I mean, there probably will be other nicknames that come out and sound good. Dirk's got like 57 nicknames. The popular ones being like the tall baller from the G, the ghost face drilla, Dirk Diggler, which is just a Boogie Nights reference. But yeah, I like Luka Legend personally. That's why I throw it out there. That, and I'm shamelessly promoting my own shtick. So we need better see though. Dallas' recent losing streak is great proof DSJ's value to this team. Yeah, because a lot of that's a great point, Caro. Because a lot of those losses were without Dennis, and he comes back for one game, plays well, they lose, and it's like it's hung on him. When it's like, okay, we don't want to talk about Barea having a bad game. We don't want to talk about the other mistakes that were made aside from Dennis Smith Jr. late in the game. Like, you can't just boil it down to one thing. Luka Magic, you watch. Well, if it's Luka Magic, then my shirts don't sell, Kent. Gah. But yes, one more time, shameless promotion on this. Whoopah! There's the link there, represent.com/store/the Dallas Prospect. The link is in the description. Wonder Boy. There it is. Lil Smitty 41. Luka was so mad at the end of the game. He was mad with the outcome, not that he got denied the shot or something. We covered this earlier on in the show. Hallelujah. That one's okay to me. I mean, the song was cool, but it doesn't fit for me for the most part going forward. Wonder Bread. Nice. Can we tell the commenters to stop it then? Oh, commentators with the nickname. Yeah, I wish. I don't like it. I don't like that they're thinking that's the one that caught on. Luka Legend and Luka Magic. I dig both of those. I obviously dig one slightly more. Here's why I took Luka Legend. Flip the jersey number 77, LL, Luka Legend. Ta! That was my train of thought. Wonder Boy is the best. Like Magic Luka, he smiles like Magic Johnson, the kid who likes to play. Yeah, but I also think flip it as well. Luka Magic is all right, but Luka Legend, dig it. Luka Skywalker, yeah, Star Wars though. I mean, I get it. It's not a bad nickname, but it feels like that's not the hottest trend thing right now. The recent Star Wars movies aren't all that popular. Harp's pushing it a lot. Yeah, Harp does that. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up for my time, guys. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. I think we had like 50-something people in here at one point. If you haven't already, hit that like button, ring the notification bell, subscribe. Support Dallas Prospect if you dig what we're doing. We're building this up. We're coming a long way here. We've been operating for about 15 months on here. Really, Dallas Prospect as a whole. So thank you to everyone who supports it. I'm going to keep working tirelessly to give you all the content, and I will always be as honest and straightforward with you as I can. Keep an eye out. I will have new Mavericks articles coming out for Dallas Sports Fanatic as well as some Cowboy stuff for whoever of you are also interested in that. But we'll have this thing rolling in 2019. I'm excited. Thanks for the show, DDP. See ya. Thanks, man. Thanks, Terity. Barea should move the ball around a bit and let everyone touch it. Yeah, Barea tends to be a ball-dominant player, but he's a very good one, and Rick really trusts him. Did you see Finney Smith touch the ball once last game? Not a whole lot. I can't recall a particular instance, but he needs more touches. He needs more because he's a very damn good potential 3-and-D guy. He shows glimpses. Wait till the consistency comes. But that's going to be it, guys, for me. Thank you for everyone once again. I will be back. I will see you guys for Mavs Talk in the new year. And remember, every legend was once a prospect. Salute.